Hello, One Piece enthusiasts. I'm the One Piece nerd, and today let's talk about X-Drake. So, as of recent chapters, we have no update on X-Drake, and I was wondering where he was, so let's make a video on it. So, the last time X-Drake was mentioned was by Prince, who is a member of the Marines, also a member of SWORD. And you guys don't remember, we saw Helmeppo a few chapters back asking help from Prince to save Koby. And that's when he mentioned that since Captain Drake isn't responding, or he has given us no direct orders, we are not supposed to do anything. And that this tells a lot about SWORD, tells a lot about X-Drake, a little bit about X-Drake, and from here on, I'm gonna do a couple of things. I'm gonna talk about SWORD because I haven't made a dedicated video on them, potential members of SWORD, and also where X-Drake is. I think everything, in my opinion, lines up, and I say it make a pretty good video. Before we move on, make sure to like and subscribe, helps the channel out a lot. And if we reach 100 subs, I'm gonna make the best One Piece theory video I've ever made in my life right now, and I promise it's gonna be great. If it's not gonna be top tier, it's gonna be tier 1 for sure. Anyways, I'd really appreciate it if you guys do, and now that you have, let's move on. So when talking about SWORD, let's talk about potential members, and one potential member that I can cut out from the list right now is Smoker, because if you guys remember, Tashigi commented on the fact that Helmeppo came to Prince for help, and she sort of knew what was going on but didn't know what was going on at the same time. It feels as though she sort of saw it coming, which means she is maybe aware of SWORD, but the way she said it, she's not involved with SWORD, which is sort of interesting. Like, remember, SWORD is an organization that is not known to many members inside the Marines, let alone outside. Sort of like CP0, and remember, Oda said in a data book that SWORD is basically a rival against CP0. I don't know what that means, but it basically means that they're sort of playing on the same playing field, CP0 working for the Gorosei, and SWORD working for somebody very interesting. So with that being said, Tashigi, if Tashigi doesn't know about SWORD, and if she did know about it, if she was a member of SWORD, I suspect that she would have been there with Helmeppo or with Prince, seeing the whole thing together. Because, you know, SWORD and Koby is captured. That is a huge deal, by the way. Even inside SWORD, Koby is a hero, and, well, you'd expect SWORD members, like, I know everyone is concerned, Helmeppo is especially concerned, but you'd expect someone like, if Tashigi or Smoker was in the group, they would have some sort of saying to this. Since we don't have any sort of confirmation, I would want to cross them off the list, because if they were, we would have known it by now. Another potential member, Aokiji, because remember, the purpose of SWORD was to infiltrate Yonko territories and damage them from the inside. And now, I don't know how much true that is, but it's true in a few cases. X-Drake did whatever he was supposed to do in 2 years with Kaido. Aokiji is with the Blackbeard Pirates for 2 years after his defeat with Akainu. And another potential member is Fujitora. Now, Fujitora, I'd like to believe, is not a member of SWORD, because although his sense of justice is sort of righteous, it's like he understands the good and evil within the Marines, and he knows that some things need to be fixed. And for someone who goes directly against the world government directly, it's not unnatural for anybody to think that he's a member of SWORD. But I think SWORD serves a different function than overthrowing the world government as a whole. Like, you know, rather than disobeying the world government, it's trying to create a separate faction. Now, speaking of factions, I remember, I think, somebody in the One Piece community talk about that when Jinbei talked about Akainu and Aokiji, they said that the Gorosei wanted Akainu, but Sengoku and most of the Marines wanted Aokiji because of the man he is. Then Akainu won, Aokiji lost, and he went and joined with the Blackbeard Pirates. What I'd like to think is that Sword as an organization existed for a very long time. We just didn't know about it. Because remember, the same way X-Drake is a Marine, defected from the Marines, infiltrated Yonko, and now we know he is a Marine. It's the same way Roshinante did his stuff. Like Roshinante, if you remember, he was a Marine, he was affiliated with Sengoku, and maybe I'm getting my facts wrong, but he was a part of the world government trying to keep Doflamingo in check. And look what happened. So I'd like to think that Sword existed way back then, and maybe it's now continuing on with newer generations, but it's entirely likely that it's not. But anyways, speaking of Roshinante and Law. So Law, X-Drake, Roshinante. What do I have to say about this? Another potential member could be Law, because remember, in Udon Prison, X-Drake basically saved Law for no apparent reason. Like, he had no reason to save Law, yet he did. And you ask the question, why? You ask the question, why, and I'd like to believe that it's entirely possible that Law is affiliated with the Marines. Why do I say Law is affiliated with the Marines? It's because Roshinante, and Law being affiliated with Sengoku a little bit because of Roshinante and following his footsteps. It's not likely, but I'm just throwing the idea out there, because what else other reason would X-Drake have rather than throwing Law out of the cell and basically beating Hawkins to pulp? With that being said, everything I think sort of comes together in the Blackbeard versus Law fight. Now, even if Law isn't, I'd like to believe he is. If he is, look at the possibilities. The possibilities are sort of endless. With Aokiji being a part of the Blackbeard Pirates, Aokiji is there. If Law is a member of Sword, Law is definitely there. And who else do you expect to come and save Law? X-Drake. X-Drake, the only Marine from Wano that is a possible ally of Law, who has helped Law before, is a part of the Marines, and Aokiji maybe being the leader of Sword. It's like as though everything is coming together and Law, X-Drake, and Aokiji would try to take down Blackbeard. That is what I'd really like to believe. Like, it's an insane possibility. With that being said, I'm still not sure that Blackbeard would be defeated. Definitely not, but it makes chances of Law winning a little bit higher. It would make for a very interesting fight, and it would make for a very interesting outcome as in general. So the leader being Aokiji, I want to expect the leader being Aokiji because he's the first one that sort of defected from the Marines to join a Yonko crew. But then again, X-Drake did it way earlier. Then here's the thought. This is definitely the thought that Sword existed way back then. Like, this theory is coming all together. I'd say that Sword existed back in the time when Roshinante was alive, and everything is sort of falling in place. Roshinante used to be around, 20 years ago, and it continued on. X-Drake did whatever he had to do for 10 years straight, like defecting from the Marines. 10 years he was a pirate, and then he joined the Yonko crew, and now we know that he's a part of the Marines. It's crazy. It's insane. The level of trick he played is insane. Now, with that being said, I'd like to speculate leader being Aokiji, Law being a part of Sword, and finally the goal of Sword. So the goal of Sword, on the baseline they said infiltrate Yonko territory and damage them from the inside, but look what X-Drake did. He couldn't do anything in 2 years. To Kaido's crew, what did he do? I mean, granted, Aokiji might be able to do some internal damage to the Blackbeard Pirates because of how strong he is, and because of his brains. He's lazy, but he is definitely smart. Otherwise, I don't think he'd be an admiral. So for him to do that and to say that he's allying with the Blackbeard Pirates, and again, Blackbeard did say that he doesn't trust anyone in the Blackbeard crew. None of them were made together for trust. They were formed as a team because of a common goal and power. So it's natural for Blackbeard to trust no one in the group, especially Aokiji, a former de facto of the Marines. It's entirely likely that he's a double agent. And Then again, Aokiji playing the most vital part, which is taking down Blackbeard. The Gorosei can't seem to be bothered about him, but Aokiji is not that kind of a person. He's seen what Blackbeard can do, he's dangerous, and I'd like to say that, yeah, I think it's entirely possible that Aokiji is going for that underhanded trick, and he is a member of Sword. With the goal of Sword being take Akainu down the throne, like give Aokiji a righteous position in the Marines. Like imagine everything he has done until this point. If he is somehow successfully able to defeat Blackbeard, the amount of status he would have within the Marines is insane, and there is no way that Akainu wouldn't accept him. And in some way, shape, or form, their goal is to basically rule down Akainu from the throne and basically make Aokiji at the top, at the same time taking down the world government. Like, when I mean the world government, I mean the Tenryubito. Then we have an alliance between revolutionaries and Aokiji. I don't know, man. I'm just spouting ideas. But I'd like to believe that Aokiji doesn't like the way the Tenryubito are doing things, and I guess he wants to put an end to it. It could go all sorts of ways. So that's it for the video. If you guys enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day. Peace.